Michael Moore sat down for an interview with the Hollywood Reporter at the Toronto Film Festival for the 25th anniversary of his first documentary called Roger and Me, and he had some possibly uncharacteristic, harsh words for President Obama, and I think this is pretty interesting. He said, quote, "When the history is written of this era, this is how you'll be remembered. He was the first black president." Okay, not a bad accomplishment, but that's it. That's it. Mr. Obama, 100 years from now, he was the first black American that got elected president, and that's it. 8 years of your life, and that's what people are going to remember. Boy, I got a feeling that you probably wish you were remembered for a few other things you could have done. So, I do believe he's as clear as he could possibly be on this issue, and he's saying, well, that's all, man. You know, you care about your legacy, you wanted to be remembered in a certain light. Well, not going to happen. It's going to be that simple. First black president, call it a day. Now, is he right? Is he wrong? Why not? Now, everybody knows that listens to the show on a regular basis. I'm very critical of President Obama, okay? And I could list off countless things I disagree with him on in areas where I think he did a poor job. For example, the NSA, he not only continued Bush's programs, he put them on steroids and made them much worse. On multiple foreign policy issues, he's continued drone strikes in the Middle East, did more drone strikes than Bush in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia. We killed many civilians. That's horrible. He increased the war in Afghanistan originally. He sent many more troops in there. I didn't like that from the beginning. I don't like it now. He's still too hawkish on foreign policy, on economic issues. I don't think he's been progressive enough. I mean, if you really dive into the nuance of the economic numbers, you realize that the war on the middle class is still alive and well. The unemployment rate is falling, but it's all high-paying jobs that have been replaced with lower-paying jobs. So, again, there are so many areas where I look at Obama's record and I go, I disagree here. So I'm not, one of these people who is an Obama loyalist who just cheerleads absolutely everything he does because he's on Team Democrat. However, I do think Michael Moore is being a little bit too harsh. So what do I think Obama will be remembered for? Well, number one, I want to say this. It's too early. Like, I'll give you my opinion on it, but it's not valid yet because it's too early. I mean, he still has some time left in office, and so many things can happen between now and when he leaves office. So that's the massive caveat, and please keep in mind it's the biggest caveat possible, okay? But I do think that up to this point, like let's say today was his last day, and that was it, and then how will he be remembered however many years, 50 years, 100 years down the road? He would be remembered not only as the first black president, I think, but also he would be remembered as the first president that got comprehensive health care reform through, and the president that prevented the Great Recession from getting worse, or possibly even the Great Recession becoming another depression. You have to look. I have problems with how they fought back against it. I have problems with Dodd-Frank, which wasn't nearly strong enough. You didn't regulate Wall Street well enough. The stimulus wasn't big enough. It wasn't a new deal. It wasn't focused on infrastructure spending. But look, historically, are people going to dive into the nuance as much as I would dive into it right now when it's my job to dive into it? Are they going to care as much about the details as Michael Moore cares about them? No. But what they're going to look at is, Bush left him a fucking mess, 10% unemployment, the fucking sky falling, and now it's 6% unemployment. Stock market at an all-time high. That's not necessarily a good thing, but the history books will probably say it is, okay? Again, depending on when the next downturn is, et cetera, et cetera. But he's going to be remembered as the first president that got his comprehensive health care reform and the president that prevented a worse recession or possibly a depression, and the first black president. Those three things. So, again, me personally, Obamacare wasn't good enough, okay? It's a conservative healthcare reform because you keep the private insurance companies in place, and they are really the problem. It's the individual mandate system. Richard Nixon first came up with it, then the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, supported it, okay? So he did a very vanilla healthcare reform, but I think historically they're going to say, at least he got something. At least he got rid of pre-existing conditions. At least there were these other parts of the bill that were successful, banning lifetime caps, etc., etc. So that's what he'll be remembered for. Even though within the achievements there are downsides, overall I think he's going to be remembered for being the first black president, getting healthcare reform through, and preventing a Great Recession from possibly getting worse.